been given a jewel, something precious, unlike anything else. Now it's time for you to give that jewel to your child. When do you decide to give it to them? When they're younger and they're able to grow up with it and learn to appreciate it and nurture it and make it become part of who they are? Or do you give it to them when they're older and you hope that they understand where it came from and why it meant so much and why you're giving it to them now? Well, that's pretty much how we have to approach the subject of hip hop, its culture, and where it's going into the future. I am 48 years old. I am a DJ. I live the hip hop culture from the hats to the clothing, and I've taken it upon myself to reach out. And not too many people my age do that. We don't really appreciate what we've been given in our younger age. And the youth of today, they are crying out for that. They want that. And as one of hip hop's eldest stateswomen, I thought it was very important that we, our people of our generation, reach back and give our generation, the younger generation, what it is they're looking for. I am vice president of the Universal Zulu Nation, which is a conscious movement to help keep hip hop and everything that hip hop is alive in today's youth. Now, especially in our young women, because hip hop right now, it's in a renaissance, and our younger generation, like I said, the young women, they don't really have a firm grasp of what it is. They busy hearing today's music, and today's music is like when you see a child holding a gun to its head. That child is is basically killing itself. Is if you build so much negativity into a child, all you can expect from that child is negativity. So we as the older generation need to reach out to the youth and really explain to them why it's important for them to understand where they came from. But we have a responsibility to also sit them down and teach them. Now, one of my artists, she is a MC, and she doesn't really, you know, listen to rap. She doesn't listen to today's rap music because she feels that it's not saying much. So every time we sit down and we get together and we have our artist development meetings, I make it a point of teaching her something from the past, be it a lyric, be it an artist, be it a film, a documentary, something that she can grasp onto so that she can get a clearer future, a clearer idea of where her future should be. And I think that we as an older generation need to sit down and talk to our youth and make them understand that what we're doing is passing on that jewel. We're passing on something that in the old days it would be considered oral history. A lot of us don't seem to realize that our children are hurting. They want this. They want that connection. They want my generation to touch them, to give them what it is that they are so seeking. And sometimes we don't always sound like we know what we're talking about. We sound like we're chastising them. We sound as if we're trying to tell them the way to go instead of allowing them the path that they have to follow. We just giving them little bits and pieces so that they don't lose their way. When I speak to the youth, I always tell them, this is my story. You have to build yours. And sometimes they take that hand and sometimes they say, well, tell me more. and sometimes they don't. Now, will we always have that connection with our youth? No. But as someone who lives hip hop the way that I do, I, I found that common ground. We can find common ground in anything. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be hip hop culture. That's just what I use to get to the people that I need to talk to. But I always make sure that I don't judge them for what it is that they are listening to. I don't judge them for how they wear the skinny jeans hanging off their back. I don't judge them that they 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 don't really understand the history of where, you know, this old fogey came from. But I also tell them that, I'm reaching out to you because I don't want my women to think of themselves as the B word, or my men to be in jail and feeling that that's all they have to live for. So the reason why I'm speaking this to you is because music is universal. It's a common ground. And the younger generation, they're looking for this. They are seeking it. They want this so bad. But if we don't give it to them, they'll never know. Now, hip hop music, it's on the rise. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in commercials. It's in movies. It's your breakfast cereal. So you can't get away from this. So as an older generation, maybe we should just take the time to understand it a little bit more, because this is what our kids are listening to. This is what they're building on. And when we try to talk to them, don't talk to them as if, you shouldn't be listening to that, because they're going to reach back in anger, because we're not trying to elevate them. We're not trying to reach out to them and hug them and give them a hug and nothing like that. They're looking at us like, why are you mad at me for my culture? For what it is I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to live. You can't blame them, because that culture and our generation, there's a disconnect. And that's causing so much pain. It's hurting us deep down inside. And while we think that they're taking the wrong path and they think we don't understand, all it takes is communication. I know that when I go to hip hop shows and I go to rock shows or I go to the club and everything, I'm partying with the best of them. I can tell all the time how I don't look my age. That's a good thing, because they're more apt to listen. We got to remember that even though we have responsibilities, we have our corporate jobs, we have this, we have that, that in the end, we just all want to have a good time. Communication, being able to speak, being able to speak to them and cause a change in their mindset. Hey, being able to communicate and change our mindset will bring us all together. Hip hop has a way of doing that. A lot of people don't understand. Hey, but it's there. We can give them more of what it is we're doing and less of the B's and the N's and all that negativity. Or we can continue to go down the path that we are rolling on, and everybody is lost. Everybody is searching for something. So in the end, what I'm trying to say is that if you take time to give that jewel and give it to them when they're young, they will appreciate that value that you've bestowed on them. In the immortal words of Biggie, you gotta nurture that baby, baby, or everything's lost. My name is AMurrell. Hip hop. Zulu. Zulu Nation.